Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Time with Eric and Marie. Another day to bring you an awesome video about marriage, personal development, and life in general.
Happy New Week, everyone.
Brilliant week, brilliant week. We hope it goes well for you. So today we're going to talk about the topic, big wedding or small wedding. Which one would you prefer?
Big wedding, small wedding. So this is for those who are aspiring to come into, this realm of marriage.
Yeah.
Big wedding, small wedding. I would say moderate. Cut your coat according to your size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you treading on cautious grounds? Moderate in what terms? That's in small or in between big and small?
The reason I say moderate is personally, I mean, if you can afford big, why not? If you're wealthy, you come from a wealthy family and you can afford big, why not? But that shouldn't be the sole focus of getting into marriage, because the wedding is just one day. Somebody rightly put it, which I agree, it's a party, on a specific day. Marriage itself starts happening after that party. So for me, I would say enjoy the party, but don't put so much focus into it. Rather, let the focus and the attention go into the after party, which is the marriage itself, if that makes sense. So moderate, I would say. I think we had a moderate wedding.
I would say it was a moderate one. And
Yeah.
I agree with you when you say that the focus shouldn't be on the one-day party. Because, weddings are a day. At most, you can go for, let's say, 3 days. Or those that are really filthy rich, they do it for a week. But after that week, what next?
Yeah.
I think the focus is on the number of days you spend in your marriage, if not years upon years upon years. So yes, Marie is right in saying that the focus should be on the marriage itself as opposed to the party, the one-day party.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think it depends on the individuals. As you said, we had ours as a moderate one. But people should consider who they are, their characters. Among the couples, are you people who are party people? Are you people who are conservatives? Are you people who want things in a big fashionable way or exuberant way? Or are you those who are quite reserved and therefore you want things to be intimate? So the two of you should discuss among yourselves, your character traits before considering whether you want to go all big or make it small or moderate as we did.
Yeah. And I think for me, the reason I say moderate is because I don't know, but I think we've seen a lot of marriages collapse or break down all too soon after these huge weddings. So looking at us now, I would say if we were to celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary, which is in just a few years, just under 5 years, having a huge big party, I wouldn't mind, even though I am not that big party type. I'm not even a party type in the first place. I would rather travel, I love us traveling. I love things being intimate for us. So us traveling, enjoying our own company with our children who are now grown-ups. I would rather like a very nice, expensive gift that I would treasure and use for years, as opposed to a party where people will just come and eat and go and be judgmental about the whole thing. That is not to say that I haven't had any parties or we haven't had any parties in our lives. We have. We've celebrated our birthday parties, Eric's 40th.
We did our 5th anniversary,
40th, our
that's a big one.
5th anniversary and things like that. We've done all that. But I would say, after maybe the first 5 years, the first decade, celebrating, I think, or having a huge celebration, I think would have more meaning, as opposed to right at the start of it, putting so much energy into having a big wedding to impress people. Who are you impressing? So I think for me, if anybody asks me this question, a moderate wedding, I would say. Looking at our daughters, for example, I think we've got 3 daughters, by the way, and I'm sure you guys know that by now. I see one who might want a big wedding, and
You think?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names because
You think?
they watch our videos. I'm not going to mention it, but they know
You
themselves.
think?
Yeah, I think I can see one who might want a big wedding, and another or two who might say, but definitely one who would say very intimate. Yeah. The other one maybe moderate. Yeah, so I think we've got all three in this house from observing them. I see one big, huge castle type, this, that, the other. I can see moderate and I can see another intimate. But I'm for moderate.
Yeah.
I'm for moderate. Yeah, focus on the marriage, because even on the wedding day itself, the actual marriage is just under an hour. It's the a few minutes of preaching, the vows which is under 10 minutes. The vows are done, and that is the marriage itself. The rest is cosmetics, as one of my uncles would say.
I mean, there are pros and cons to each one of them anyway, so don't get us wrong. It's a choice that you need to make. But one of the major concerns is that as you're going into marriage, especially for young couples, finances is a major thing. So you need to consider your finances before deciding whether you're going to go all big or small. Because these days, weddings cost around 25k minimum.
What?
To put out a photo. Yeah, in the UK.
Really?
25k on average minimum. So you need to either think of 1 day's party or at most 1 week's party, as opposed to you starting off with a good mortgage or buying a house. A deposit towards buying a house. So you need to think about the future of your marriage rather than just the initial party where everyone comes, as Marie said, to eat your food, be joyous, have a good party.
And
then after that,
judge at the end of the day.
yeah, after that, it's left with the two of you. So I would even think about my honeymoon, where it's just intimate between the two of us, pushing some more money towards that as opposed to everything on the wedding. So you should think long term before you decide whether it's big or small. But then the advantage also is that if you're going to throw a big party or a big wedding, you have everyone come in. You can invite your schoolmates. You can invite even your primary school mates. You can invite people from church. You're not going to miss out on anyone in these weddings. As opposed to if you're going to do a small wedding, you are forced to, let's say, cut down on the number of people that you invite. And maybe others will be offended. Let's say you do a 50 people party and you're not calling external family members. People might get offended that, why didn't you call me in? So there are pros and cons to each one of them. But personally, I think I'll go moderate for that, for the reasons that Marie gave.
Yeah, and I agree with him because during our time when we got married, of course, we did our registry here in the UK and then went back to Ghana the following year to do the actual church or white wedding. By the time we got back home, our parents, especially my mother, had organized everything. The whole church is coming, family extended from everywhere, his side of the family as well. People came from everywhere.
Exactly.
These days, people are very strict, quite strict with who attends their wedding. There's a very strict guest list, to the point where the list is pasted outside of the reception hall, and if you get there, your name
can you imagine if you're not
your name is not there. So I've had to accept that for the near future with our children, that they wouldn't give me that space to invite everybody.
Our third cousins, our fourth, But it might not be the same.
Exactly. But with what I know now about life as well, I wouldn't want to have just anybody there as well, because it is a very special day for them. It has to be as memorable as possible. You want people with the right energies, people who are going to be extremely happy for you and be positive about the marriage, wish well for the marriage and all that. So selecting your guests, I think, is very important. It's very important. Hence, again, you need to take all these things into consideration and not really just go out of your way to say, just because you want a big, huge wedding, everybody and anybody is allowed. These things sometimes do cause problems in the marriage.
Planning normal weddings sometimes can be stressful, let alone planning for, let's say, 500 plus guests. Making sure everyone is comfortable. The other thing is that during the actual day, the ceremonies or the party itself, you want to enjoy the day yourself as the bride and the groom, as opposed to you looking over the table to solve problems that are going on. Even if you have a party planner, you are still heavily involved in the affairs of the day, that you want everything to go well. So in order not to stress yourself so much, you don't want to go all out, inviting over 1,000 people and making sure that everyone
And the reason we say this is because lately we've been watching, obviously, thanks to YouTube, even if you don't want to, it's there in your face, it's advertised to you. So we do watch a lot of videos, weddings back home or within the African community, and we're noticing that the weddings are getting bigger and bigger,
and they're becoming competitive.
Yes, and because it's coming, it's being shown on YouTube or on social media. As Eric is saying, they're becoming very competitive, quite expensive, and you don't really see that intimacy. You know, So for
it's like who brought the most cars? Who had the most number of bridesmaids or grooms? You know, you can have 20 each.
Weddings are themed. Weddings are themed now. You know, you have to have all these luxury cars.
Exactly. It's becoming a bit, not that you can't do it. Yes, if you've got the money and you want to flaunt it, why not? Do it. It's a special day. Once in a lifetime day, kind of. So go all out and do it. But if you can't afford it, or if you haven't got the time to go through all this stress, then please cut down on your expectations. And at the end of the day, as we began with, it's about the two of you and the union that you're going to be in for a lifetime, God willing.
Yeah, because I mean, what's the point of having the not to name anyone, but in Ghana, for example, there's one recently, just about a year and a half or 2 years ago, there was this huge wedding, and then 2 years later, they're divorced. You know, so the first question is, what was the point of that huge wedding then?
Purpose,
you know,
isn't it?
Exactly. So I would say moderate, any day, anytime, moderate. And even as I keep going back to even as I'm growing, because I'm learning so much as I'm growing, and I'm realizing, and especially with social media now in our lives, I'm realizing the power of privacy, the power of intimacy, the power of enjoying each other and not sharing everything with everyone. You know. So that, I think that's all I have to say.
Great. So guys, tell us how yours has been, or what you think of doing if you're not married yet. What you'll be choosing to do.
What's your preference?
And if you did it, you've already done your wedding. What was your preference at that time as well? Let's share ideas and write some topics that you'd like us to discuss as well. Hope you've been enjoying it so far. If you have, subscribe, share, like, do all the above, and let's bring you more videos.
Thank you, and
Peace
see
out.
you again.